Who else is
Eddie Rodriguez, 701 Main Street, Bethlehem. Yeah, I want to address this. You know, I read what's happening here regarding the issues that I talk about at the podium. And with all due respect, these are not worded like I mean it or say. The theme of it all is to address it so that it can be understood and heard by the general public. Some of it is cut out or worded differently. I would like to express that part. The dam at the Monocacy Creek, I think, should be eliminated to one extent, and then the other one I may suggest is to either build higher at the retaining wall area or lower the dam so that the water does not override the retaining wall. This is a problem issue, and they need to do something desperate and soon to clean out that dam. I'm wondering if funds have been allocated for this situation, and that is the question. But I see that hardly anybody showed up, which is a fault, I think. Unless if you know that where they're at, I would like to see them appear here, like we, as citizens of this city, appear here and take the time. I don't see officials like here, hardly any. The other thing I want to, last but not least, is to address something that's been happening to me. And I have to explain it this way. This is not because I, Eddie Rodriguez, have anything to do with the hatred or dislike or because of rules and regulations. You know, I have taken the time to be a community activist for years, like I've been explaining at the podium. But I don't like the mannerism and behavior of some members, and I specifically say some members of the police department. The reason why I'm saying this is because of some behavior patterns and conduct that have been sent directly at me with a drone message. And that message is, with respect to the rules and regulations we use, as council members have adapted. They singled me out with one instance, you know, over on Union Boulevard, and gave me a ticket according to rules and regulations by ordinance. But I looked around that whole entire area and no one else was ticketed but me. They knew my truck, they singled me out and gave me the ticket. I'm not going to match this with the badge number at all because out of respect for the officer, but he should have respect for me. Unreal. The other thing is I was threatened with my life some time back, and I bought this before City Council, and nothing was done about that. Tony Hanna knew about the issue. I referred the matter because the employee at the time who was off duty, again, I will not mention that employee, he knew about it, and I don't know what happened to that. Neither did Tony Hanna or the police department follow up on it, to my knowledge, because they never got back to me. Unreal. You know, I'm the one that got hit with this. And I'm the one that made the report. Are we gonna have officers like this on the force who lie, with all due respect to other officers who are clean and with a clean record, or that have a tendency to do these type of things? This is not the conduct and behavior that I know of a police officer. I want this looked into. I'm making that request. They also lied to a judge who imposed that I was the one at fault. Unreal. It was on camera. I said this before the podium before, and I'm bringing it up again. This is not right. We gotta clear this up. And this can't be happening to me or any other citizen in the city of Bethlehem. I want this looked into. Are we going to do anything about what's happening at the Monocacy Creek? That is the final 19 seconds that I have. I would like an answer on this. Has there been funds allocated? Have they applied to FEMA, I guess it is, in reference to funds. I see nobody here from the Parks Department. I don't see anybody else. I don't see the commissioner here with respect to the gentleman or the assistant commissioner, other than this officer here.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Dr. April?
Fun.
I'm just curious about this. We have a dangerous situation with the Fahey Bridge, and I don't know what's being done about it. I don't see any.
Jack, would you just have your name and
Oh,
address,
yes,
please?
Jimmy. Jack Eagle, 22 Thomas Street. Right. I don't know what's being done with Fahey and the walking conditions there. I see a lot of pedestrians who aren't too careful walking in the traffic and so forth. What is being done to expedite that situation?
Fair question. Joe, could you give us an update on that, please? Thank you.
As you're aware, it's a completely a PennDOT issue. PennDOT's responsible to maintain that bridge, inspect that bridge. And we learned, I guess it was the week before, the Thursday before Celtic Fest, that they were going to close that bridge based upon information in an inspection report, which they had not shared with us to date. The mayor and Mr. Alcall met with Mike Reber, who is the District 5 representative, and they have a short-term plan, which includes putting down essentially railroad cement pylons there to create a walking lane on the one side of the bridge to at least allow for pedestrian access. Unfortunately, it looks like the fix of the sidewalk would be $4 million, but they think that the $4 million fix might not be in the best interest because the bridge is not in the best condition, and an overall bridge replacement would be about $26 million. As you know, in the sad state of affairs that is infrastructure investment in the Commonwealth and in the country, finding $26 million is not going to be the easiest thing. But the city has asked for a meeting with the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. We're meeting sometime in November to discuss this particular situation with him. We've also reached out to our legislative representatives to help set up a meeting with Representative Brennan, Representative Samuelson, and Senator Boscola to engage their help. Again, this is a PennDOT problem. The city's going to fight as best as it can and advocate to get that bridge open. We recognize how critical that pedestrian walkway is, as well as the bridge itself. And you know, we're as angry and as frustrated as every resident and every citizen who tries to cross that bridge and trying to find a solution to this as quickly and as expeditiously as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? Steve?
Permission to speak, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. Stephen Antalik, 7 Ridge. Old issue, brought up 2 previous meetings, and I'm bringing it up again based upon comments I received from individuals who are aware of what I'm saying, and that is citizens, rather employees of the city, living within a city. I reviewed the records in 1962 establishing the ordinance, and they were very on target. I reviewed the minutes of the revocation of that ordinance or revision of it in '88, and they gave no credible reason to do that. And there's no legal precedent to say that residency requirement is illegal. In the process since last council meeting, one person said to me, or I was told by them, communication, that as a city employee, they were asked to pick up a superintendent of the city because his car broke down, which was a city car, and living outside of the city at a reasonable distance. And this person had to drive a city car to pick up this superintendent. So it took a person away from his job, but also incurred a double expense. Others have said that they do not like their fellow employees living at a great distance because sometimes they're being on the job, was not on time or leaving early. So that of the number of comments I had, mostly were the latter. And of course, basically, as I said earlier, the person who would have greatest respect for the city would be a resident. And that resident, if employed by the city, would double that respect for the city. So to have superintendents living outside of the city does not dwell well for the welfare of the community. So I suggest strongly that council look into revising the revocation of the ordinance of 1962 by reversing the ordinance of 1988. Number two, I suggest that City Council look into the property that I mentioned in the community, in the previous committee meeting, that the property on 5th Street, why a single-family home would have to include a parking lot, which is not adjacent to the property. And why is this being done secretly? Secretly meaning that it's not a multi-listing, or there's a sign in front of the property. So single-family people don't know about it, possibly because if they ask, if the sign was there, it would create a problem as why do I have to buy a parking lot, which I don't need because I've got a two-car garage behind the property. So something is rotten in Denmark here. And I think these are the kind of things that the city needs to look into, simply because I'm hearing in all these different meetings over the years, South Side preservation is best by having single families. So as I said earlier in the committee, and people weren't here, is that the city's acting in contradiction to what's in the best interest of the city by allowing bad zoning to allow demolition of single properties. But I urge you to find what's askew with the property at 416 East 5th Street. Why can't a single family buy it? They won't buy it because they want to buy a parking lot which they don't need. So this, you get a message here? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? This way.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Gui Shu Fang. I live at 3280 Martian Drive. Today I'm here. I see Mr. Reynolds will be in charge of finance, your finance committee. I'm glad, and I want to point out something because I heard a lot of Bethlehem citizens complain about our tax keep going up and keep going up. So I just wish, since we are the ordinary citizen, we're the taxpayer, we trust you represent us to do the better job to serve community, make improve our quality of life, make sure the safety and clean water, clean air, and the safety on the street. I also would like to see Mr. Reynolds and everybody sitting here has the authority when you pass the budget balance, look at it because we have to look at what's our revenue, what we have. It's not every department, whoever crying loud, want the money, want the overtime, everything else. Each department, whoever in charge, should balance their budget. If we have a shortcoming in our revenue decrease, they should have a backup plan. Say, for example, this year we only have we propose, we want to spend $1 million this. What happened? We only have a $500,000 revenue. Do you have any plan to back up? Are you going to cut, benefit, or lay off people, or what do you do instead of just like say, oh yeah, you get 1 million no matter what. And some